As we've been telling you over the past few days, Florida is bracing for the arrival of Hurricane Milton.
But Bill, of course, is keeping a very close eye on the pattern here and the sort of projected track here. So what is happening with Milton? Because we're hearing some pretty wild numbers in terms of speed and force.
Yeah, it really is maintaining its strength. It's currently in a very favorable environment for maintaining or even strengthening a little bit. That's why it may become briefly a Category 5 again. We're currently sitting at maximum sustained winds of 250 kilometers per hour. 252 is when it becomes a Category 5. There's kind of an eye wall replacement. They kind of cycle through. It's not, it's a fairly regular phenomenon in this kind of strong storm. And as it does so, you get a little wobbling of the winds, and then they reinvigorate. So as it reappears the eye wall, we'll likely see some strengthening. Then there'll be a little bit of wind shear or differing winds at heights as it heads closer to Florida. But it's such a strong storm that even when you take a little bit of the punch out of it, a Category 3, which would still have maximum sustained winds, in the upper 100s, will be incredibly destructive and devastating. And there are currently storm surge warnings from Tampa Bay and including Tampa Bay and Charlotte. And we're talking 10 to 15 foot winds or 3 to 4.5 meter high, not winds, storm surge. So think about a wall of water just moving in. It's basically the surface of the ocean being pushed in by 10 to 15 feet in Tampa Bay, which is a very low-lying area to begin with. That combined with the winds, which will be in excess of 170 kilometers per hour maximum sustained. I think putting out your arm out the passenger side of window when you're driving down at 100 kilometers per hour and trying to hold it steady. That's the consistent force, and expected to make landfall, reach Tampa Bay, around Tampa Bay, close to midnight tomorrow night. So it's going to come in and just hammer the West Coast. There are significant watches and warnings all over for both storm surge, hurricane warning as well, from Bonita Beach up to the mouth of the Suwannee River. This is going to be an incredibly impactful one. And you were saying earlier that they haven't seen one in this area of this strength since 1921, over 100 years.
Oh my gosh.
So it'll be devastating. That's why there's all these evacuation orders in place.
Oh, that's terrifying. I used to live in St. Petersburg. We have friends in Tampa. You drive along that Howard Franklin Bridge, and just the amount of water that you see when it's high tide coming over that bridge,
right.
You can imagine with something of this magnitude how horrific that's going to be. So I wish all our friends in Florida, I know we have a lot of snowbirds that go there.
Yeah.
So yeah, brace for it and evacuate if you can. Thank you for that, Bill.